Welcome to yet another wrestling channel. My name is Rich, and today I'm going to be one of those channels. I'm going to talk about something that happened just a couple of hours ago, because it's been a few days since I made a video and I want to stay in the swing of it. A couple of hours ago, CM Punk put something on Instagram that normally wouldn't even enter my radar. I've never been one for Instagram, but it was 3 cryptic numbers: 05, 11 and then 21. Now, I wouldn't normally do a video about something like this, especially because everybody and his dog's going to be doing a video about this till Friday. But what intrigued me is looking at the replies, especially on like tweets that were talking about it, and how quite a lot of people didn't really get the context of what the numbers meant. I guess maybe newer fans, people who weren't indie fans back then. So I just thought I'd do a little video and I'd talk about what each of those, talk about what the first 2 numbers mean, and we assume what 21 stands for in this. So let's start with the 05. Now that's a reference to 2005, and it could mean one of 2 things really that are basically along those same lines. It could mean that that's simply the year that he signed with WWE, or it could be, if you really want to sort of expand on that, it's the year of the Summer of Punk, the original Summer of Punk. So for anybody who doesn't know, it was a storyline in Ring of Honor where it was sort of public knowledge that he'd signed with WWE, or it was rumour. You know those signings where basically people know, but it's not being said publicly, like by the person or the company or whatever. It was heavily rumoured that he was joining WWE, and so quite cleverly, I think, to throw people off the scent of that, on the very next Ring of Honor show, CM Punk won the Ring of Honor World title from, I believe, Austin Aries. It's been a long time. He won the title, I think, from Austin Aries, and proceeded to cut a promo talking about how he was not only leaving, but he was going to leave with the Ring of Honor World title. And that storyline lasted a few months in Ring of Honor, and it featured the company basically throwing people at Punk to get the title off him before he leaves, and Punk was sort of using WWE as like the evil empire, not the first and by no means the last there. And Punk even went as far as to sign his WWE contract on the world title belt in a Ring of Honor ring for nuclear heat. So that's what the 05 is probably in reference to, and like I said, also it could simply just be that he signed with WWE that year. But that storyline is sort of still fondly remembered, still talked about. Then we get to 11, and I would think more people know what this is. It's not only the year that he renewed with WWE, but it's the second Summer of Punk, as it were, beginning with the sort of the pipe bomb promo. When you watch that pipe bomb promo, 10 years on from when it happened, a lot of it holds up. The comments about Triple H and Stephanie, the comments about Vince, a lot of that are still relevant today. But when that promo hit 10 years old, there was a fair bit of talk online of it's not that big of a deal, it's not that big a moment, and that just really tells me that if that was your view, you weren't there at the time. Because the thing about the pipe bomb promo, the Money in the Bank match with John Cena, that amazing atmosphere, there's a reason that match is on a lot of people's sort of top 10 lists. And it's not just the match itself, it's the crowd, it's the atmosphere, it's the way it ended with him going over the rail and blowing a kiss at Vince McMahon. it tells me, because when you were there at the time, it felt really special and really magical. At that time, there weren't a lot of references to the outside wrestling world, whereas Punk had talked about Ring of Honor, he talked about New Japan. He, in that Pipe Bomb promo, he sort of openly discussed his options in a way that's not really been done before or since in a promo. But not just that, but after Money in the Bank, there was this genuine kind of not knowing what he's going to do, where he's going to pop up. The next day, the picture went round of the WWE title in CM Punk's fridge. It was a really sort of weird and interesting and sort of gripping time, and I think that from the promo to Money in the Bank is part of why CM Punk is still as revered as he is. But not just that, but the long title reign and Straight Edge Society, everything else he did was great, but there was a real sort of magic about that we rarely ever see in wrestling. There was an air of realism to it that people could really buy into. And sadly, it all ended with Triple H versus Kevin Nash in a ladder match. I mean, how do you take that storyline and just wreck it in the way that they did? I might go in more detail about that sometime. Maybe when we get to the anniversary of that Triple H versus Nash ladder match. But that's the 11 that's mentioned on the Instagram post, and that leaves one more. That leaves 21. I think it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since this whole thing started with CM Punk possibly going to AEW. And my approach throughout all of this has been, until he walks onto that stage, I'm a little bit skeptical. But I think the point I'm trying to make is that AEW seem to be putting more care into this one. You know, they're not promising a massive... I mean, they've said that this Last Dance show is going to be a big moment for AEW. I mean, there were people who were frankly underwhelmed when Christian Cage appeared, TNA theme and all. I'll admit I was one of them. So I do kind of applaud them for being a bit more cautious with this one. However, I hope people get what they want on Friday. And I'm going to leave it there. So, yeah, just a video. I want to just stay in the swing of making these. And it's been a few days since I recorded anything or edited anything. So I want to thank you if you found this video. And if you made it this far, God bless you. I am making this channel just for fun. Just to try and sort of meet other wrestling fans and start up a conversation maybe. Please click like on the video or subscribe if you feel so inclined. I'd really appreciate that. I'm going to be back maybe in a few days. I don't know what talking about, but yep, thank you for finding me. Goodbye.